recuperator rubbers for the 25-pounder, 24-pounder. And had Major Johnson, who then became Rubber Johnson. He worked for Dunlop's in India, and very knowledgeable about rubber. And the signal went off to War Office about the shortage, and they couldn't supply any. And they came in a little round tin, about half the height of the old cigarette tin. Cigarette tin? About half the height. It was all wrapped up in lead foil inside and very carefully packed and that sort of thing. And so the War Office signaled back that the mix was a secret, and anyway, we didn't have the chemicals out there. To GHQ, you know. So Rubber Johnny got back, and he said he could make it, it was all right. And so he scrounged the chemicals somewhere, and we made recuperator rubbers, and we didn't have any tins to put them in, or lead foil to wrap them with, but tossed them in the bin. But they worked! Later on comes the Sicily invasion, and I've forgotten how many thousands of Mae Wests had the wrong rubber under the inflator nozzle. Frantic signal from War Office, these are all going to be changed before the invasion. It was the same chemical that we weren't supposed to have. We had to make rubbers for the watches. As I say, they work in strange ways.
The reasons were obvious at the time. Britain, for obvious reasons, and partly through the lead syringe, the U.S. was virtually broke by 1941. The fact remains these vehicles that we had to pay for being reassembled, $2.5 billion worth, $2.5 billion worth, were never paid for. Some of them were loans that were forgiven, some were outright gifts, but for a country of 11.5 million people, it's strange we came through it. But there are benefits to production, even if you don't get paid for it. Now, I'm not an economist, but somebody might want to make comment on that.
At the height of the sort of flap about saving shipping, two things. We had a hell of a high priority, of course, the refueling tankers for Malta. And they were built by Studebaker. And you've never seen anything so completely knocked down. Even the spring hangers are off the frame. We had to rivet them up. And here at Fort Malta, they were screwing around with the Studebaker trucks. Anyway, the ships came in with a hull, the hulls filled with wheat or whatever the hell it was, corn or something. And when you got all that out, there were the tanks down the bottom, or the cases with vehicles in them. And the stuff would get inside the hull of the tank. It had salt water in it and stuff. And it created a bit of a problem, but everybody, I suppose, got their wheat. You see, some of these ships had been through some pretty rough time, apart from enemy action. They had been through storms and that sort of thing. The cargo would shift. They'd have a leak in the hull for some reason or other, cracked. Some of these jobs were been welded, you know, or didn't stand twisting so good. And the ship could get there, but the stuff inside was sometimes in pretty bad shape. And of course, that's what led to this thing where I was saying earlier, where we warmed up the carburetor, distributor, coil, wiring harness, and all that stuff to drive the moisture out of it. That sort of helped so we get the engine started.
I can add to that a little bit. The same thing happened in tanks when Britain occurred.
Yeah.
And as you can see, as you can remember from the tank, there were a lot of little cranes, nooks and crannies where wheat stored, and so we were doing some work in tanks at a place called Jack Olding, north of London. These vehicles came in and got transported and were put in the yard. Of course, things grow like hell in England. And by the time we were taking them in to do something with them, we had weeds stuff. 24 hours at a time. This thing looked like somebody's rock garden.
Let's try a couple of questions, see how it works.
Going back to Morton days in 1940 was one thing. great big 60 hundredweight came tumbling in one day, and all was hush hush, secret. And then it was the back was the first Jeep, who had been tested somewhat up at the Petawawa, I think, but we had to test it and write a report on it as well. At that particular time, 5 Dib was the senior formation in Borden, just waiting to go overseas. And I wrote a report on it. I thought the damn thing was a beautiful thing. It had an awesome motor in it at that particular time, I think, but did very, very well. And 5 Dib being the senior position, why, all the stuff had to go through them on the way to Ottawa. And at that time, too, there was an English lieutenant colonel acting as G1 in 5 Dib to smarten them up. And he saw this report and he came down and he wanted to see this vehicle. So I sent one of my drivers out with him and took him around out the sand dunes and so forth, brought him back in again. I asked him, well, he said, I like it fine. He said, but I'd like to take it out myself this afternoon. Oh, I couldn't tell him not, and he couldn't go, but he came down and took it out. Sure enough, about 4 o'clock, he came in with the vehicle, and I rushed down to see how he was and how he liked it. I asked him, oh, he said, I think it's the most amazing little vehicle. But I can't see any use for it in the army. I phoned Doug here. I was just deflated, you see. I phoned Doug. He was paying no attention. We just ordered 500.
Well, I'm pleased to have the opportunity to tell you the Jeep story. I had very close relations with General Christmas and some of his officers in Washington, and I used to be on the phone with him quite regularly. And one of the supply officers down there said to me, we're going to make some small vehicles to replace motorcycles. We're going to make 70 of them for test. How many do you want? And I said, well, I've only got an authority to spend, I think it was $10,000, but I said, I'll take 2. So I took 2. And the Americans made their buys in lots, and they bought 72 vehicles, but from the American Bantam. With the proviso that American Bantam had to provide complete blueprints for the vehicles so that they could put them up to tender to other people. The 2 vehicles came in, one of them being the one you were talking about. I sent them up to be proved and tested, and got these wonderful reports about how good they were. And I thought they were terrific. And from everything I'd heard, and then I got a call from Washington that Americans were going to buy 50,000. How many do you want? And I said, God, I haven't got any authority. And there's no establishment, no money. We can't buy. I said I'd like 3,000 of them, but we can't. We got nowhere in the army to put them. But I said I'll try and get authority. So he said you got till next Thursday. We're going to make our buy on Thursday. So I worked on DSDW. I was Director of Staff Duties Weapons. Wally Goforth was the colonel, and Wally was pretty ineffective on this, and he didn't get anywhere. And I wrote, finally on the Saturday before, I wrote a full legal-sized paper to him on equal terms. I didn't expect it to go any further, and I really blasted them. Told them what a stupid bunch they were over there and everything else. God, Tuesday morning, I'd asked for 3,000. Tuesday morning, I got a call from General Macklin. General Macklin said, I am instructed by the Chief of the General Staff to tell you, Colonel James, that you are not to condemn the Army in general and the General Staff in particular. And that was that. Which leads me to another, if I may bore you for a while. I don't know if any of you know, but all the GS vehicles used by the Canadians in the landing on June the 6th were brand new. And this was a deal made by Chris Gilbride, Bascom Darwin, and myself. I went to Leatherhead and talked to them, and we enjoyed ourselves for the evening, and we thought that these 4-year-old vehicles that have been wanting around England weren't any good to land with, and we better provide the Canadian Army with brand new vehicles, which we could do. So I said, I'll see what I can do. Came back, and I got Bert Harrison, whom I mentioned before, to figure out what we wanted. And it came to $130 million, which was small change, but I got as far as the MGO. The MGO called me, and he said, what's this for? $130 million? Well, I thought we weren't spending any money now, that everything had been bought. So I explained it to him, and he said, oh, God, we can't do that. Let's go over and see the minister. So we went over and saw Colonel Ralston, and Colonel Ralston. I gave my pitch that I thought that the Canadian Army should have the best waterproof vehicles and the newest vehicles to land in the invasion. And Colonel Ralston said, I agree with you. There's a War Committee to the Cabinet meeting tonight. I'll get you your authority. Go ahead. And I've always had the greatest respect for Colonel Ralston and what he would do. And it was never mentioned anywhere, but they were all new vehicles.
I want to call on our 3 international collector or vehicle enthusiast visitors. They have all expressed a desire to speak from their various positions. And I call first on David Brown, who is Vice President of the New South Wales branch of the Australian Military Vehicle Society. David?
In New South Wales, our club is centred in Sydney, and most of our members come from the metropolitan area of Sydney. We align ourselves more towards the vintage car movement. We don't like to align ourselves, we don't like to have ourselves featured as being an off-road organisation. And we look at the fact that military vehicle restoration is a newer aspect of the vintage car movement. The vintage car movement is a continuing evolution, everything changes, nothing is stable. And the military motor vehicle comes under what could be called special interest group, and it is the newest branch of that group. You collect vehicles where you find them. Usually, in our case, behind our sawmills or off the farm, behind the farm is barn. Or we buy them directly from auction, government auction. That's the newest stuff. Then, as far as CMP vehicles are concerned, first off, I must explain that in Australia there is no such thing as known as a CMP vehicle. They are called blitzes. And everyone knows what a blitz is, even a small child. Very common truck. I did my first army driver training course in 1962 and did it on blitzes. And we used C-15s and C-60s. Very few Fords blitzes in Australia. And so by that time, the early to middle 60s, started to see these trucks being phased out and sold off by public auction. Most of them went to sawmill operators to use in the bush or logged out. And when they failed, they were just dumped right there where they broke down, and that's where we find them. How these vehicles came into Australia, they were purchased by the Australian government, and they arrived in Australia during the war with chassis, engine and running gear. And the bodies were put on by General Motors Holland. The biggest difference, as you look at a CMP vehicle in Australia, the easy way to pick an Australian one is to look at the air scoop ventilators just in front of the doors. In Australia they are rectangular, not triangular as the Canadians are. That is the biggest single difference. Other than that, the bodywork is virtually identical with the Canadian one, except for a few little minor local details. As I say, all the cabs and the bodies were all locally produced by far the majority by General Motors Hull, the local subsidiary of General Motors. Ford in Australia also did their own bodywork. And because there were not as many Ford or CMP vehicles in Australia, there wasn't the extent of involvement with these particular types of vehicles by Ford that General Motors Hull did. We use the vehicles in the manner in which they were designed to be used. That's written into our club constitution, within obvious limits, of course. So we will head off on a Friday night and do a round trip of 400 or 500 miles on a weekend. And we go into quite rugged off-road country. The idea is not to smash your vehicle up. The idea is to use it sensibly, adhering to military principles of motor vehicle movement, and we do training in winching and recovery and so forth, getting vehicles across the river, and then on a Saturday night we'll sit down and have a few beers around the campfire. And that about sums up our activities. Thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to talk.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This whole thing started off as a lark for me. I've been involved in antique cars and been restored Model A Fords, this sort of thing. And a few years ago, I was reading through Hemmings magazine, and those of you familiar with that is sort of want ads for antique cars. And listed in miscellaneous automobiles was a British CAA personnel carrier. Okay? Well, that part of the nomenclature was wrong, and I went thumbing through Mr. Vanderveen's book, which I've had for a number of years, and gee, this strange looking thing is there, and I said, well, I'll take a ride over just for the lark. I don't intend to buy it. I don't need another antique car. Well, anyway, it was back in my dooryard about a month later. And I started because there was a lot of information with the vehicle. There was some letters from the original owner who had owned it since 1946 or 47. That part's not quite clear. I started tracing it. And the more I got into it, the more I got hooked on the historical side of both that vehicle and CMPs in general. And there was one letter with it that said, I bought it from the British Broadcasting System in 1946. And I tried to trace it down, wrote a few letters, and that was sort of the end of it. Wasn't getting anywhere. And about a year and a half ago, I was watching the Today Show one day, and they had a piece on the auto industry in New York, and also the Dearborn Museum in Michigan. And they were standing beside a Chrysler sedan, talking about it, historical vehicle, Maryland Claudia's official car, etc. And the commentator was saying, and this is the vehicle that General Eisenhower rode down Madison Avenue or whatever it is in New York in his triumphant parade in June of 1945. And they cut to a piece of news film. And darned if running along beside that Chrysler's bed isn't a CMP. And on the grill is a BBC placard. And it was covering the parade. Well, that started my hunt. And with cooperation from the BBC's office in New York City, various film archives, trip to Washington to do the film archives down there, I turned up some movie film, which has pretty conclusively, when you look at all the angles and match up all the markings and detail marks on the vehicle, prove that it's the same vehicle. So here's one that I've been able to trace its history from date of manufacturer, which I'm going to sticker was June, to being in use in New York City at the end of the month through its entire life. It has been kind of a kick to have a vehicle that's this rare down in the States. I understand there are a few other hubs and a few other CMPs. There's some more turning up. And it's generated quite a bit of interest. And I've enjoyed greatly being able to relate pieces of information from the doctor's good series of books and from other sources about really the contribution that the Canadian industry made to supplying the needs during the Second World War. And for Military Vehicle Collectors Club, we're not surprised. A lot of the guys who were in the club who had served in Europe and things like that assumed that a lot of the stuff that was right-hand drive. If it was right-hand drive, it was British made. And I think that's being re-educated. And I think there's a renewed awareness of it. And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed being part of it. And I certainly am enjoying meeting this august group here, also here. Looking forward to sharing the next couple of days with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As far as I has burdened not only being an expert, which is a burden in itself on military vehicles generally. He happens to be a CMP enthusiast from way back. Not only that, he's Dutch, so he's got a double-barreled feeling for Canada, which if anybody was in the Second War in Northwest Europe knows the feeling of the Dutch, I think. Mark has asked that he could stick to it.
Double-barreled accent on the end. Yeah, I may be the only one here who was actually liberated by the Canadian forces on the 13th of April 1945, after 5 years of occupation by the Germans. I was, as a kid, quite interested in vehicles, and military vehicles in particular. And during the war, of course, we saw all sorts of vehicles. I mean, even if it wasn't only for the military interest, but these Germans, they had confiscated and stolen and put into service vehicles from all over Europe. So I saw my first Isotta Fascinis and Lancia trucks and Spa and Fiat from Italy and Renaults and Citroëns from France and Berliers and Bernard, you name it, they had it. They also had quite a few Allied vehicles. I remember Morris commercials, which they had picked up at Dunkirk. I remember Studebakers 4x2 trucks, which the United States had supplied to France in 1939, and which had fallen into German hands. In short, they had a potpourri of vehicles, and it was just all sorts. Now, on that 13th of April 1945, after a night of artillery barrage, the Canadians came in. The first vehicle I saw was a Jeep. Everybody was inside it, kissing these soldiers, you know. And I was going around these to study the transfer case. I was 30 years old at the time. And then I walked down the street to the highway, and there these Canadian snub-nosed CMP vehicles were driving into our town. Tens, dozens, scores, hundreds. It was unbelievable. I remember the look on the faces of many of these drivers being very tired, but most of them would muster away, you know, because we were absolutely, how shall I describe it? I couldn't. So I was firmly hooked on CMP vehicles because they to me were the symbol of liberation, freedom. And I started collecting whatever I could get my hands on in the way of pictures and newspaper articles and magazines which showed these vehicles. Then afterwards I had to do my national service in the Dutch Army, and sure enough we were issued with about 30 CMP Fords 560Ls, and I had one in my name, and I drove it for thousands of miles, and it was fantastic. You know, for me it was the realization of a dream. The rest of the military didn't interest me very much for these vehicles. And I thought, well, Roosevelt Jeeps and American motor cars with semi-trailers. But this particular Ford number 62203, that was my favorite. And I then went to England in 1960. We stayed over 15 years. And in 1961, I wanted to buy another Jeep to do that. And then I came across this marvelous C8A computer vehicle in the yard. It was in poor condition, but it only cost £25. And I towed it home and put a new battery in it and started it. It had to run for 6 years. I traced the original owner, who was a fruiter. He used to various produce to the market. He told me that whenever there was anything wrong with the engine, they would just get another one out of the box, brand new. They would never run valves or anything like that. So he went through 3 engines on that truck. The major modification he had done to it was to remove the rear door and have one of the roller things. But he still had the original seat that goes in the back with the reversible backrest. He also still had the original door, but he used it as a garden gate and it was completely lost away. Anyway, I did that and then I wanted to enter it in the London to Brighton Run. Now there's a London to Brighton Run on the first Sunday of May for cars, pre-1906 I believe. But for commercial vehicles, the deadline was 1940. And there were one or two World War I vehicles in there, the Thornhill and Leyland. And I persuaded the committee to allow vehicles of World War II vintage. Now, I think I was the only one in the UK at the time who had a World War II vehicle restored as such. I should have started, and I will do it now, to thank Peter Ford and Bill Carey very kindly for inviting me. You know, ever since the war, Canada and CMP vehicles and the liberators have been one to me. I've had it in my system all that time to want to visit Canada. And when I got this invitation about this seminar, I said to my wife, I must come. It's too good to meet, so I'm delighted to be here. One thing, shortly after we were liberated, we got several transport companies of the Royal Canadian Army Service Corps in our town. And they were issued with 60 underweights. I think per platoon they had about 34, plus a WMT record, a couple of jeeps, some motorcycles, an office truck, a water tanker, kitchen truck, etc. And one of these platoons with the B numbers in the doors, one of the drivers of number B12, he was Benjamin James Gorham of Doran, Ontario. And he was a very shy fellow. And in the evening, he wouldn't drink or do anything extravagant. He would just sit on his CMP. And my father walked past and saw him, and he said hello, and would you like to come for a cup of coffee? And he sort of said, he was a very shy fellow. And my father said, well, it's 7th Street, second to the left, and then the first half on the right. If you feel like it, he didn't want to force it. And sure enough, within 10 minutes, there was Ben. And he spent the evening with us, and from then on, for the next 4 months or so that he was stationed in our town, he would come almost every evening, and I can still see him walking into the room, putting his hand in his jacket, and get some bars of chocolate, put them on the sideboard. It was a fantastic kid. And unfortunately, we lost contact with him after the war. My elder sister actually corresponded with him for a little while, but he was much of a letter writer, and we lost contact. But then a few years ago, we tried to approach him again in order to be present in Amsterdam in May 1980 when we had a huge celebration of the liberation. But we couldn't get hold of him, and we tried through some organization to find out whether he was still alive or not, and apparently he was, but he didn't respond. But now, so a friend of Bill, we have traced him, and we hope to see him next week. And I still got his photograph on the front page of my album, in which I have a picture of my first restoration of C8A. And to me, he is CMP, although he may not even know what CMP means. He was just as long as he came from upstate, well, that province, I suppose you should say, Ontario. He may never have been away from there before or since, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing him. Apart from that, again, thank you very much for having me here, and having been interested in CMPs for so many years, and then to find yourself in company with people who talk nothing bad is for me something fantastic, because again, I've been alone for a long time, and I have a lot of correspondence
this question to our friends from Swallow. In my work at the Canadian Archives, and I started to try to trace how this beast here came into existence, the fox armored car, the first name that was on the telegram or report was the name of Swallow. Not many people know the background of how that thing got going from what was originally a British Daimler to a Humber 2 to blueprints for 3 and 4 before this thing was produced in Canada. And I think that Sid here would like to be able to tell us some of the interesting background to that little tale.
I'll do my best. It was like everything else that happened, you know, the Canadian forces decided to a certain thing. If it happened to resemble one that was being produced in the UK, well then we thought it was to dig out the details. So normally then went to the country supply. Well, it was first usually. Country supply. One of us who was making it. Get permission to, I always want to make sure I get permission to go and talk to people. And as it turned out, it was done with the Humber armored car, and it was being made by the Humber company in Cove. I don't know how many hundreds of times I traveled up that road from London to Coventry, but I sent every drawing that was produced have you seen our recently drawings?
No.
They not only did drawings of something, but they had a bunch of girls who finished them up and made them look pretty. And they put shading in them all sorts of things. Oh, that's beautiful. You know, you should train almost any of them. I had pictures for you living in them. I think the Canadians were, to start with, were pretty keen on the Daimler, and the little Daimler scout car. And these two came along at very much the same time. But if I remember correctly, I think the British began to feel that the role for the Humber, for the armored car, would be much greater role than that for the scout car in the type of warfare that was become about. And so they recommended we go bang all on the Humber. But I think in the case, Canada won them both, so we, out of that came the Fox armored car from General Motors, and the little Lynx from Ford Motor Company. And we have samples of all here. I can't say that I really contributed anything other than that I was a very interested observer in what was going on, and I had wonderful cooperation from the people who were producing them. One of the interesting things that happened during this time came the bombing, the famous bombing of Coventry. And I think I went into Coventry the day after.
I was with you.
No, you weren't.
Well, I was with you a day or two.
You were with me about a week later.
Was it about a week?
Yeah, because you and I went down to the cathedral, remember?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, I went in the next day. Of course, my landmarks had all disappeared. I had a little bit of difficulty finding my way around Coventry. But there was an Austin Reed store still standing, and I went in there and bought a tie the day after the bombing, and I still have the tie.
The post office.
Pardon?
The post office and the Austin Reed are the only two places.
Anyway, what leads me on to this is the fact that Humber and Sheffield never met. And of course, they were, it looked very much like our Southampton plant did when they got knocked down, with beams down all over everything. Interesting thing was that every car, every armored car that was in running condition had gasoline, and it was standing there, and the gasoline didn't take fire. And how that happened, I don't know. It must be pretty warm. And the tanks were scorched like mad, but the tanks were still all full of gasoline.
The British suddenly just had a great interest in getting more of these little Daimler armored cars that General Montgomery was winning and losing and winning and losing. And in doing all this, he was losing equipment. And these were very short supply. They were better than the Bren end carriers, so it operated the stand better. And they did well. I was ahead and behind them in the lines of them and could usually get out again. But they just didn't have enough, and they asked
finally came to Canada and said, "Can we build it?" So the first thing was to do it and do it quickly. The first thing that came to us was, let's get a sample. I finally persuaded my Montgomery staff people to let one go, brand new, from Daimler. And I think Daimler were only producing very few a week at the time. So anyway, there was a lot of influence at the world that they sprung on for us. And we shipped it directly to, I think we shipped directly to Fort Windsor.
Correct.
And one of the things we did, this is the fun part, and being an engineer myself, I would do the same thing probably. We got about 6 or 8 copies of the instruction book. We sent them to anybody and everybody we thought who would possibly lay hands on it, from traffic people moving it through the rail yards to the guys at the Fort River Company, to the guys at Ottawa. What have you, said, this thing has got a Wilson grease like the gearbox that you've never seen before in your life. Read the book before you drive it. So it gets in the measure in one piece and gets to be unloaded to some engineer in the engineering department decides to supervise this thing now. And the first we hear of it is the next day a big long cable comes in. Please ship 1 Wilson grease like the gearbox by air forthwith. Guess what happened?
It would seem that in the rush to develop military equipment, that quite often we utilized things that were already available and sort of stuck them in, and they came from industrial or civilian uses. And my question is, in that case, were the other people doing the same thing with their equipment, or were they starting right from scratch and designing it right from the ground up without makeshift? That's one question. The other, and I think this still holds true, that young Canadian males seem to drive with a certain exuberance. And I'm sure that was happening during World War II as well. And I wonder, when you were involved in rebuilding vehicles, what were the things that were going on with them? Were they caused by the drivers, by the enemy, or something else?
The average life of a vehicle in the Western Desert is around 8,000 miles. Not very long. Engine. If it was a base transport, another engine on it, we'd go again. Tires were a problem, big recapping plant in Cairo, one in Alexandria. An awful lot of damage to the front end of the vehicle from landmines. That was probably the biggest single thing. We facetiously used to say that the Jeep killed more people than the enemy did. The casual gay abandonment with the guys who drive them. Interesting sidelight. The first 8-wheel drive German armored car was captured. Talking about drivers. A 2-pounder shell went up right next to the crank hole. It took all the counterbalance out of the crankshaft, took the flywheel out of the stop. Suddenly. And we got it back and had a good look at it. The transmission was special. It was a very fancy transmission. It had an 80% reverse, something like the thing Martino had. The suspensions were obviously standard German heavy-duty truck bogies, 2-axle bogies, put together with the transmission in the center. The governor was a shorting device for the Magneto, big V8 engine, lovely job. The governor was the size of this, probably, and driven by the back end of the camshaft, and inside were a couple of bob weights, of course, and 2 wires that crossed, and that shorted out the Magneto. From the governor was a piece of what the British call flex, we call a piece of wire. And it ran from a terminal on the governor with a set screw in it that kept the wire in, down to Magneto, where there was another terminal with a set screw in it. The government car was built in 1937. Those screws never been touched. The governor still works. See, the first thing that went to our boys was American something, they pulled the bloody wire out and we know it would work. That was an interesting little sidelight. Those screws never been touched.
We have diesel engines now that you can't tamper with the governor. It takes almost a cup of coffee at a coffee shop so you can do it.
Well, talking about, casual gay abandonment that fellows know, we put a proving ground in just outside Ottawa. It may still be there. Had a figure-8 track on it. We put 2 vehicles on it to run them to destruction, just to see what would happen. And they ran 24 hours a day. With 2 vehicles on the whole track, what should happen? They hit, bang, smash into one another and kill one of the drivers. It shows you what the casual gay abandonment is here. I don't know what the length of the track is. I can't remember so long ago now, but it must be at least half a mile or so around the thing, in and out. But to have 2 of them on there and be sure they run into one another. So that's your casual gay abandonment.
I have to go back to the unraveling car business again, since I seem to spend so much time in that particular plant. They were definitely adapting whatever they could from the civilian production into that armor car. And so I think, I don't know who he meant by the other side. I think it meant the British, it might have meant the Germans. In which case I don't know what they did, other than that they kept changing their mind and whether they did have a good tank control or lost over, or at least a good tank in their opinion. So I don't think there was any difference I don't think there can be any difference anywhere. When you get into an emergency situation like a war and you got to move fast, you don't go and design something new, you try and grab something off the shelf that possibly will work. Does that in any way answer the question?
Yes, the British were doing the same too, were they?
Certainly they were at Humber, and I think they were Humber. I mentioned to somebody, every sentence that's said there reminds us all, I think, of something. But the interesting thing at Humber was the fact that once a month, all during the war, to my knowledge, they had a little meeting about the design of their post-war vehicle.
Yeah.
And on several occasions they asked us to get drawings. But one case was, we had just got into the automatic convertible top. They hadn't seen that in England, so I had to send home and get drawings of the convertible top so that the Humber post-war committee could study this.
Also, one other thing, what the Germans did, making their ordinary vehicles work long before the war started. I was there in '38, and they had already started putting fuel openings in their gas tanks in their vehicles that were at least 6-8 inches in diameter, so that you could dump fuel in an awful hurry. You didn't have to send it out of a little 1-inch hose or something. They made all the civilian production put a huge opening on the top of their fuel tank. And that was long before, well, it was a year before the war.
You think of today that they might be designing equipment for, I'll call it a future war. I hope there is never ever one, but they are creating people in the military and the government are still looking even more, right, at the current production of commercial vehicles. That's what they're trying to buy rather than an army vehicle. And so we're not in an emergency right now, and yet we're not looking at special transmissions, special engines, special axles. We're looking at taking standard ones right off the shelf that are being built in our plants now and using those. So I don't think it's going to be any different than it was back there, that you grabbed what the hell you could grab and you used it as best you could use it. And that's what it's going to be, I'm sure, in the future. That's what they're looking at. That's one of these days we're not going to have any gasoline engines that will run around with the red trucks and that and turn into an army vehicle. We're going to have to go to diesel. One of the things the army are doing now, I'm getting up to date rather than going back, is propane as an alternate fuel. We've got lots of overboard and stuff. Propane and diesel, they do work, one helps the other, but you don't run a diesel engine with a spark plug on a propane rig. And so we get going down one track, or go down one route, and we get trapped by another one, where we both have the engines to run these things. So it's going to be, if there is a scramble, it's going to be a scramble again, trying to find really commercial bits and pieces that will go together to carry things.
We were taught for first 2 or 3 years that I served in the Army, down patching and gearing down. You want to talk about it a bit?
Who wants to take it first?
I was given a 1941 Ford when I got out to Cairo. And driver on private trimmer, he'd been in the Army for 14 years, and he's still private. He was a vegetarian too. Ford trimmer. But he double clutched. It was a synchrometric clutch. He double clutched when he came to a corner. And he finally wore the clutch out and stuff like that. So I explained to him, no, we got adequate brakes, don't worry about it. Just leave it in high gear. It took a bit of doing, but you learn. But that was, you're quite right, that was the standard British way of teaching their drivers. There are several states in the United States going back 15 years, and maybe more now, that by law require that you have a gear lower than high that can be maintained in engagement for descending hills. This was sort of came up when we got interested in automatic transmissions. That sort of thing. New York, Pennsylvania, California, I've forgotten them all now. There was about 8 of them back in those days.
On the other hand, the CIA, the Automobile Association, which was associated with it very closely up till recently, in its latest book, which I happen to participate in, advocates against using brakes, and usually used to descend hill. Brakes nowadays, especially since the disc brakes are efficient enough and resist fading to the extent that why wear out your gearbox as well as the brakes. So, automobiles have no longer advocate using your gear slowing down and going down hill.
A question I'd like to ask, Canada went to war in 1939, but the United States didn't do so until January or December of 41. Canadian production. How did you get around the neutrality laws of the United States at that time?
Americans never worried about ordinary war materials. It was our damn Customs Department in Ottawa that worried more. Well, I'll tell you, if I may have about 3 minutes, I'll tell you just exactly what. C.E. Howe had an order in council passed that everything for war purposes came in duty-free. That lasted 2 months and was withdrawn because it was they couldn't operate it. So it came along later, and just as Cuno said, we stopped buying parts from the motor companies in lots with stuff, and we bought it as used. And we ended up, we had $12 million in extra spare parts we wanted to return to the motor companies. So we returned to the motor companies, and what happened, let's say a connecting rod cost $1, when a duty-free, and it was now $1.30. Well, we got $1.30 less 5% or something from the motor company. Result was that we were getting more than we paid for it. The money was coming. And the National Revenue said, oh no, you're in effect collecting duties. You can't do that. We're the only people who are allowed to do that. And I said, all right, how much do you want? I'll give you $100,000. No, we only want what's due to us. We only want exactly what's coming. So at the height of the manpower crisis, they sent 6 men for 6 weeks to London, Ontario, to analyze every bin of spare parts in the place, and made the great decision that any number of parts up to the number that had come in during the 2 months hiatus were assumed to be there. And after they'd done all this nonsense, they ended up and they said, we want $76,170. And they'd wasted 6 weeks, 6 people, 6 weeks to have a pencils, ink, transfer $76,000 from the Department of National Defense to the Department of National Revenue. I would have given them $100,000. Saved all that trouble. But the Canadian government was much worse than the American on dealing with these things. I hope they've improved some.
Another thing I'd like to ask, what is the history of the rectangular Ford badge on the hood of the early CMP vehicles?
There was a rectangular badge of a similar design on the luggage compartment lid of the 1939 Ford.
Yeah, I think that's what it did.
It may be not exactly the same, and I suspect that it came from the same vendor, maybe slightly altered for the military. But it's a pickup of that one.
I think I might have been the one that put it on there first, and
I think you were.
It's your fault.
it was something we had in stock.
Yeah. Here we go again.
We just use what you got, that's it.
Now, on the 1940 and 41 production vehicles, you didn't care too much about which pattern radiator grille went on, you know, whether it was this diagonal or square pattern, because one can see both on either Ford or Chevrolet. But by 1942, when the Cat number 13 came out, there were many subtle differences, quite apart from the badge and the steering wheel and the dashboard, etc., and the axles, of course. But my question is the radiator brush guard, for instance, which is much wider on the Chev than on the Ford. Were these designed in that way to give to be a distinguishing feature, or was it coincidental, or it was a carryover from the earlier type, of course, but that is one of the distinguishing features?
Now, I can't answer that because I had left the country by that time. And that cab was introduced to correct the mistakes I made.
I didn't want to bring that up.
No, in most cases, it's just two engineers drawing something up to do a job.
That's available.
That's right. Fred Hudson did the second cab, most of the work on that.
Yeah. There wasn't any specific reason for it. It was just two guys putting up a couple of bars and a bar across.
What were the items? There was,
well, there's the brush guard. Yeah,
The brush guard remains quite different through that.
Yeah. And also the pattern of the radiator grille. Now, that must have been done deliberately to differentiate between the two and to be able to recognize them.
yes,
Some people must have gotten together to decide, you do this and you do that, or...
just another source.
that GM bought from this supplier and Ford bought from that
That's just
supplier.
expanded metal. Yeah.
They could both make it, and they had that one in stock. So at least they were accustomed to making that particular one.
No,
That's a guess, however.
nothing as subtle as trying to identify them going down the road.
Were any Canadian military pattern vehicles ever built with left-hand drive for domestic use? No. None at all?
No.
Sid has a different answer.
The early samples were.
They were, yeah, I know. Yeah.
And they turned out to be for some domestic use because well, the Army paid for them, and the Army sold them commercially. And
Yeah, they sold them and got rid of them.
Pardon?
They sold them and got rid of them after the war.
Yeah.
But we built, it's either 2 or 3 1500 weights with left-hand drive. And also that's Camel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So only the prototypes...
That was because easier thing to do.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, I drove both of those vehicles quite some distances in Canada, so maybe I was thinking of what I had to do in the future.
That's a case where you can't really go to commercial. We tried this recently, going with the Hendrickson suspension on a tandem job for military use. It doesn't work with the darn. It doesn't have the articulation like the Scammell had. We used to have that Scammell down in Aldershot. We used to call it the cow, remember? Geez, it would go wallowing through any damn thing. But the articulation in that back bogie was just out of this world. And the Army, of course, called for that, and you just don't find it in commercial. So those are the kind of things we were talking about, that you have to go special if you're going to go anywhere on that type of design. But you just don't pick that up in the corner store.
That's right.
Further to that question, there weren't any bought for left-hand drive bought for use by the Army, Canadian military pattern vehicles. They bought those 2 or 3, whichever it was, used them as samples and sold them commercially.
Right. Thank you very much indeed.
That was a very interesting session.
Herb made a comment a little while ago about the first vehicles being assembled from parts and all the parts missing. I must tell you, I feel like telling you the story. At the beginning of the war in DM&S, they put a purchasing agent from the CNR in there, and I don't suppose it hurt anybody to mention his name, Chris Doney. And Chris, remember Chris? And Chris had the idea that the CNR were the best purchasing people in Canada, and they could always buy better. And so he bought everything in pieces. He bought the chassis from General Motors, and he bought the body from the body manufacturers. He bought the tires from the tires, the wheels from Kelsey Wheel. He had at least 400 suppliers for one vehicle. And he was going to ship these overseas so that Herb could put them together. And of course, he never thought of the fact that we wanted 30,000 vehicles in Canada. Well, just assemble them at CMD in London. Just put them together. Well, after we got a few hundred down there, and they're all piled up, and we didn't have any assembly things. I went to Chris and I said, for God's sake, ask the motor companies to build these things complete. Build a vehicle. Oh, we can't do that. It costs too much money. We can buy so much cheaper. And I said, no, well, let's try 1,000. So we tried 1,000. And said to the motor companies, who had all the purchasing staff, follow-up staff, and everything, you do all the scheduling, you do all the buying, you build them all, you put them two in a case or what, we don't want anything to do. We're not automotive assemblers. And Chris admitted to me afterwards that they saved $1,000 a vehicle by having the motor companies buy it.